And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. I'm going to go to the phone lines, but hold on just a second. I want to finish the points here. Senator, as we continued what the circus is, Senator Kamala Harris, a Democrat from California, earned 4 Pinocchios from the Washington Post fact checker, as she was claiming that Kavanaugh's description of clients' views were actually his own. And she knew she was lying at the get-go. She knew it all along. And then, as if on cue, the uncorroborated accusations of sexual misconduct from nearly 4 decades ago surfaced. It was choreographed like a fine dance. What would make people behave this way? Well, this article goes on. I'm going to stop here so I can go to the phone lines. One explanation is that the left's visceral disdain for the president translates into absolute opposition of his nominees. Yes, that's true. But President Donald Trump was not president during Justice Bork's nomination and procedures of whatever they call these hearings. And President Donald Trump was not president when they went after Clarence Thomas, who is not an old white guy. So as I was saying with this, and I had a caller and he dropped, I don't know for what reason. Don, if you're still out there, give me a call back. But he was going to say that we're doing Kavanaugh an injustice, that we keep talking about these things when there's no justification. There's no witnesses. There's no evidence. In fact, it's being the opposite. And yet we keep acting, and of course we have these crazy Democrat women that have got him guilty no matter what, which they demean the women who have actually gone through assaults. And now 2 men have come out and said, they're the... We did it. We groped her. It wasn't Kavanaugh. We did it. We're the ones.
I am Spartacus.
They are Spartacus, I guess. They're coming out and saying that they did it. Of course, I don't know if it's true or not. But, and it's funny, but it's not funny. Why are we the people putting up with this circus? By the way, just because you didn't pay admission doesn't mean you're not paying dearly for the tickets on this one. Let's go on. Nearly 80% of Trump's nominees to the U.S. Court of Appeals, for example, received a well-qualified rating from the American Bar Association, higher than the previous 4 presidents of both parties. And yet these nominees have received an average of 33 negative votes in the Senate, compared to only 11 from President Barack Obama's well-qualified nominees, 6 of President George Bush's, and just 5 of President Bill Clinton's. Now, when we read about the civil war that's going on in this nation, we talked about ruling through these judges. If the Constitution is the rule book of the government, do judges have to follow it too? Or can they manipulate the rules and do as they please? And that is the whole story about the left. It happens to be the Democrats in this situation with Kavanaugh. The left are concentrating on the women's rights and abortion. If you hear them, you'd think the women aren't going to be able to vote tomorrow if he gets confirmed on Friday. He won't be able to vote Saturday or next Tuesday. It's usually a Tuesday, isn't it? At least in the state of Missouri. It's crazy. He can't change law. But many of the left judges have gone against the Constitution, just like the ones that were fighting the president's executive order, which I don't like executive orders. But he had every right to vet people coming into this country. Every right to protect. In fact, it is his duty to protect the borders and these people of the United States from harm. But not according to the left, and not according to some of the right. Our system of government, he goes on to say, and we're going to go on after this, our system of government comes by design, not by accident. And it is designed with an impartial judiciary in mind. That's the only way that our system of government works the way it is supposed to. It also means that certain political forces are not going to get what they want. But rather than persuade the American people to adopt their political agenda, the left has tried to change the system by installing political judges. Remember the Civil War that I read to you, the current Civil War. Force rule by judges. And I'm going to read this last paragraph. Well, it's not the last paragraph, it's the last one I'm going to read. America's founders designed the judiciary to be the weakest of the three branches. Yet the steady appointment of political judges has transformed it into the most powerful branch. Political judges have been, to use Thomas Jefferson's description more than 2 centuries ago, twisting and shaping the Constitution into any form they choose. And that's what the Democrats are concerned about with Kavanaugh. He will go back to the Constitution, and that's not what they want. Remember in 2012, during the President's State of the Union address, I took notes. I remember. They say if you write things down, you remember longer. I took notes, and I remember. And if it didn't scare you, it scared me enough for all of us. When President Barack Obama said he wanted the power to consolidate the branches. Why? Why would he want the power to consolidate the branches? He wants the branches to give him that power. Turn over your power to me. See what we can do. That should scare you. And yet they think that President Donald Trump is the one that's going that direction. It's not true. Well, this has been orchestrated, and I'm just going to leave it at that. It's been orchestrated from the get-go, this particular stuff against Kavanaugh. And it came out that Christine Blasey did not, and first, she did not give it to Dianne Feinstein, that letter. That letter went to Representative Anna G. Eshoo, E-S-H-O-O. Yeah. We've been lied to from the get-go. From the get-go. But that was a representative, and a representative just does not have jurisdiction over certain things. And so they could not be held responsible for lying because she gave it to the representative instead of the senator. I don't know. It's a tangled web. And you know, DC occupiers occupying offices and cutting deals, they have made quite the web. I wouldn't call it pretty. You know, those garden spiders make really pretty webs. I wouldn't call this a pretty web. And it seems that we the people are stuck in it. But it's because we choose to let the bullies continue to bully us. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome at 877-895-5410. That's 877-895-5410. Spending. They keep spending, and the consequences. What about sovereignty and patriotism? I want to talk about that a little bit because I think we need to get a little proud. And we will be right back.